What's going on, guys? Here today to do the front tire portion of the build. Hopefully it should be a lot easier and a lot quicker than the rear portion of the fatty tire kit was to put on and install. My only problem now is, because of course there's always problems, always. Gotta figure out how exactly I'm gonna do this, because I can't do any kind of lift underneath where you would want to because of the exhaust, where it's positioned in the center, given that it is a undertail exhaust setup. Now, if I was Toch, I would have designed this one to be a little tighter up against, or, you know, still bring it out like a side exit exhaust would be, bring it out down this way a little bit to give you some more room to mount a scissor jack or something underneath. And then as it came out this way, then kick it back underneath. Maybe they could do that, maybe they couldn't, I don't know. But you think for as much money as these are, that it would just be a lot more kind of high and tight. Anyway, so what I gotta figure out is how best to support the front end. Hopefully it goes smooth, we gotta figure this out.
God, if you listen, help!
Rigging the shit out of this. Okay, this is working. I got the blocks here as just like a rigged up safety precaution. The wheel is off the ground, the wheel is spinning. And I have the bottle jack and some wood holding up under this most in center I could get to make this thing go up as even as possible and still have all the weight on the swing arm, which it does. So it's solid, shouldn't go anywhere. As long as this jack from Harbor Freight, please God, don't fail me now. As long as that doesn't fail me, we're in good shape. Well, I can't get the tire out without taking off the fender, of course. One thing I was hoping I could get around, but can't. It's all right.
Fold it up, we gon' burn it down.
Ooh, so I didn't have to take the whole thing off. It allowed me enough play. So hopefully I don't gotta take that apart any further. So let's move on to doing the tire. All right, so I'm gonna real quick take off the rest of the rotor. All right, set that aside. That should be it for the stock tire. All right, now we gotta open up the hub. All right, so once we move the screws, I'm gonna drop this in like so. Flip it over just like we did on the last one. Line up these holes. Use the bolts that they sent us. Of course, using the red Loctite I've been using. You know, again, I'm not knocking these guys, but they did use these. They could have cleaned them up before they sent them to me to make them look like they were next to new, not leave a whole bunch of residue and stuff all over them. I paid full price. With the arrow on the rotor, we want it to go the direction of the tire. So make sure this is the right direction of the tire. Tire's spinning this way, so this I'm gonna spin this way as well. 2 bolts back in, like I did with the rear wheel. And then when I'm ready, I'm gonna put the other ones in while they're on. I may have to unbolt the brake to get the caliper to slide in there. A little hard to see. It looks like I might have to do what I did on the rear, loosen these up to drop the rotor down to slide it in. Alright, now I can see. Alright, so I had to pause the camera because this, again, problems. I had to take the brake off. We saw I took the brake off the mount. I had to take the rotor off while pushing in the axle to get the caliper back on, because otherwise it was too wide and it was going to hit the rim going in. So I had to drop the rotor down to fit that in and then mount it back up. Here's the issue. They say that the stock spacers for the wheel, if you're running the factory forks, which is what I'm running, you can reuse your factory spacers. But by the looks of it, both of them, even if I have it centered up all the way, they're both not going to fit in. And the ones that they gave me with the kit are supposed to be for the other ruckus style forks that drop it down a little lower. I guess they're a little wider. So they gave one of these, and then I have another one somewhere. So right now I'm trying to figure out a solution for the spacer issue. Until I get the spacers in, it's not gonna work. The front wheel is gonna be all over the place. So let's try to figure this out. I did send an email to the ruck shop and they did answer me back, and it's Sunday, so that's cool with them. They're saying that I need to remove the axle and possibly, spin the front forks a little bit, turn them, and basically turn them back in, and it'll be tight, but it'll work. And again, 2 people is what they recommend to do this with. And again, I don't have 2 people, so let me try this and see if it works. I don't know any other way to do it, so hopefully this works. So I'm just a little confused at how this is supposed to work. So it was easy enough to spin on there and turn the axle, or turn the front fork on with the spacer, but to use the stock spacer on this side, it's like, how in the hell is that's not gonna work. Everything's on correctly, I just don't know. Even the small one they give you with the kit for the aftermarket setup is not gonna fit in there. All right, after a short break and a Lowe's run, what I went out and got was some stainless steel washers to use to fit in between this area right here. I don't see any way that it was fitting. I did talk to the guys at the ruck shop, They said it should fit. They didn't really run into any problems with anybody running the factory forks and it fitting. It was gonna take some work as far as twisting out the front shocks and then like kind of rolling them back in with the spacers, but there is no way with that stock spacer in on this side, that stock spacer is gonna fit over here. There's no way. Because the brake mount here that holds the brake and calipers and all that stuff in place to the rotor mounts here. So if that's pushed out any further, I would need longer screws here to make that work. And then at the same time, I wouldn't have enough room anyway either side. There's just not enough space. So I'm gonna use the factory spacer on this side, and I'm gonna use some washers on this side to make it as snug as I can. So let's just get it done and hopefully it works. Five washers on. It gives me enough space with the factory spacer on this side. I mean, it looks as, I don't know, as center as it's gonna get with the rest of the bike. Trying to go off the brake caliper mounts on either side. I think it's, I don't know what else to do. I think this is gonna work. You know, some people run this without the front fender, but mine, Grom's not low enough to really support that. So I'm putting it back on. That looks like it's a little too tight. It's stopping, so I'm gonna back it out just a hair. I think that's pretty good. All right, let's get it off the jack. All right, it looks great. Finally done. Had to do a little MacGyvering to get this thing to work, but shout out to the Ruck Shop for answering my emails on a Sunday. Not in the office. They did get back to me, helped me try to troubleshoot a little bit. I didn't get what they were saying. What they were saying, it just did not look like it would work at all. Check this thing out.